And welcome to the May 27th, 2025 regular meeting of the City of Troy Planning Commission. Copies of the agenda for tonight's meeting are available at the entrance to the room. Agendas and minutes of prior meetings are available on the city website. This meeting will be conducted in accordance with the agenda as presented or amended by the Planning Commission. State law establishes planning commissions. This planning commission is comprised of 9 residents appointed to serve our community. Members are appointed by the mayor and confirmed by city council. Other individuals participating in the meeting include representatives of the city's planning department, city attorney's office, and our city planning consultant is not here tonight. If you wish to address the Planning Commission, please come forward to the lectern when recognized and clearly print your name and address on the sign-in sheet. Please begin your remarks by stating your name for the benefit of the commissioners. All remarks are to be addressed to the Planning Commission and not to anyone else in the room. If you have a cell phone or any other device that might disrupt this meeting, please either switch it to silent mode or turn it off. And at this time, I ask the Planning Commission Recording Secretary Kathy Zarnicki to conduct the roll call.
Mr. Buechner. Mr. Faison?
Here.
Mr. Fox? Mr. Hudson?
Here.
Mr. Krent?
Here.
Mr. Lambert?
Here.
Ms. Malalahali? Ms. Parakis?
Here.
Mr. Tagle?
Here.
Quorum present, Madam Chair.
Okay. Next, we have approval of tonight's agenda.
I'll move.
Okay. Mr. Faison and Mr. Lambert seconded. Does anyone have any edits? Okay, we're ready for the vote.
Okay. Mr. Faison?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Krent?
Yes.
Ms. Parakis?
Yes.
Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
Mr. Tagle?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is approval of the minutes from our May 13th, 2025 meeting.
I'll move it.
Okay. Mr. Krent moved.
I support.
Mr. Faison seconded. Any comments, edits? Ready for the vote.
Okay. Mr. Hudson? Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Minutes? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Mr. Krent?
Yes.
Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
Ms. Parakis?
Yes.
Mr. Tagle?
Yes.
Mr. Faison?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we have public comment for items that are not on the agenda tonight. Is anyone here to speak about anything not on tonight's agenda? All right. Okay. And Mr. Savadon's going to keep time? 3 minutes? All right.
Good evening. My name is Mary Ellen Barton, and I'm here tonight because I am deeply concerned and frankly outraged that the city of Troy is allowing a 4-story building to be developed right next to a long-established neighborhood like mine. My frustration only grew deeper after speaking to Mr. Franco. His lack of compassion for the people impacted by his development is disappointing. He even ridiculed me when I shared that we didn't mind living behind no Kmart.
In fact, we found it peaceful and even entertaining at times. Watching the cars arrive like an anthill, as my kids used to say. We enjoyed the quiet weekends and open space. That peaceful coexistence was part of what we bought our home for. I didn't realize until recently that Mr. Franco was connected with Kmart. Knowing that now, it makes more sense how the data center was pushed through with such force. We jokingly said that we were going to hang a sign, "I love Walmart" banner on the back of our house because with the lack of shielding, it would have been clearly visible. We never did, but sometimes the fantasy was fun. How it is that Troy has no zoning laws to protect long-standing neighborhoods from being overshadowed by commercial development. Why weren't these protocols built into the consent judgment? When I raised these concerns, Mr. Franco smugly told me things change. Some of us have spent 30+ years investing in our homes, raising families, and contributing to the community. I cared for my property as a single mom, sacrificing my own needs so I could build something stable for my children. Now I had hoped to enjoy what I've worked hard to build, something stable for my children and my family and my retirement. Now I had hoped that time that I hope enjoyed and did all the work for, but instead I'm left wondering what is coming next. I want to be very clear. Vague promises from Mr. Forbes should not satisfy this commission. It is not in writing, it means nothing, and you all know that. So I ask you that, what is this planning commission doing to protect established neighborhoods from being abused by developers with deep pockets and long connections? What policies are in place or being considered to stop this from happening again? Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming in.
See you next.
Did you grab the sign-in sheet, maybe?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
I get very nervous.
No, you're good. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to item 5, preliminary site plan approval, SP JPLN 2025-0001, proposed GFA Forsyth site condominium, 9 single-family detached units, north of Waddles, west of DeQuinder, 4189 and 4197 Forsyth, PIN 88-20-13-401-028 and 0-37 and 038. Section 13, presently zoned R1C, one family residential zoning district. And I believe Mr. Savanant will be, or is it you, Mr. Savanant, who's going to be presenting? Okay.
Madam Chairman, may I make a statement prior to our planning director?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm going to move that I be recused from any of these proceedings with Mr. Abathira. And the reason, I'll try and keep it vague, but 3 years ago, I represented a couple in Forsyth who sold part of their property, which is now encompassed in this project tonight. Some representations were made in that, both legally and morally, and I find they've been breached, and I just cannot accept anything Mr. Abathira says now in defense or in this project. I'd like to be recused and permanently recused, and I'll leave and come back when this matter is concluded.
Okay, I think that's fine.
If no one has an objection.
Does anyone have any
I'll get
objection?
going.
I mean,
None.
yes,
I have a
put
question.
your face on.
So, for the city attorney, if there were legal
I'm sorry?
issues,
Pardon?
the city attorney, I have a question for the city attorney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going.
No, okay. If there are legal issues, should we be aware of those as we deliberate?
So this is news to me that
Okay.
Mr. Hudson was planning to recuse himself other than 5 minutes ago when Ms. Parakis told me. So I don't know what the issues are any more than what Mr. Hudson just told us now.
It's not a legal matter that can be resolved by this planning commission, so don't be concerned about it.
Okay,
I guess that's the answer. Okay.
Is that-
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, that's the answer. Yeah.
okay. All right. So I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Savanant for a presentation. And I guess I'll just state that there's now 5 of us here. And in order for us to pass any resolution, we would need all 5 of us to agree.
Yeah, so in that vein, I did send an email to, or had Jackie send an email to the Planning Commission a number of weeks ago asking for attendance at the meeting, and we, until about 6 o'clock tonight, I thought we were going to have 7 people. Wow. Then Mr. Fox said he had some type of a personal emergency that he had to attend to, and now we just had a member recuse himself, so I had no idea we're going to be down to 5 members. So the margin of error here is, for a positive vote, it needs to be 5-0. So I guess what we can do is, to be fair to Mr. Abathira, because if I'd known it was going to be 5, I would have taken steps in the past to be reasonable to Mr. Abathira. I can make the presentation, we can have discussion, because it is on the, then we can leave it to Mr. Abathira to, if he doesn't, based on the discussion, if he has a bad feeling, he can request postponement. Is that reasonable?
No.
Ms. Dufresne?
No. We're not going to have a discussion and then have him he can ask for postponement before we begin, based on the fact that there are only 5 people, but we can't proceed and then have discussion and then have him say, oh, this is going south, I want a postponement. So he's got to make the decision now.
And I believe that he can, if he asks for a postponement, it's still up to us.
Still up to the
We would
board. They've
vote.
approved the agenda, so they can
we've already
either
approved
proceed or
it,
not
so.
proceed.
Well, and I guess I just want to caution, I think we've got 2 items on upcoming for June. I think there would potentially, we could potentially, if he did seek postponement, put him on the first meeting in June. I mean, there's 2 items, but I don't think it's going to be insurmountable to add a 3rd item, if that's the avenue Mr. Abathira wants to go down.
All right. So, Ms. Dufresne, at what point are we going to make the decision? Should we talk about it? Should we ask the applicant now, or should we wait for us to present it, or?
No, I think we need to ask Mr. Abathira if he
From
wants
right
to
now.
proceed with 5.
Okay.
Or if he's gonna ask for a postponement, and then you guys need to decide.
Yeah,
either
okay.
Based on whether he's asking for a postponement or not.
Okay. Mr. Abathira, if you wouldn't mind, would you come up just? We're going to go for it. So, all right. So on the record, he's like to go for, we're going to proceed. Thank you. Is everyone on Planning Commission comfortable with that decision?
Yes.
Okay. All right. For the 3rd time?
Yeah.
Go ahead and get started, Mr.
Thank you.
Simon.
GFA Forsyth, located north of Wattles, west of DeQuinder, on basically the rear yards of 4165, 4189, and 4197 Forsyth. Mr. Abathira is proposing 9 single-family homes in a site condominium. It's an extension. It's a separate project, but it's essentially extending 2 streets that were established when Pinery Woods was approved in 2015. One is Rockingham and one is Stoningham. It's like almost Fred Flintstone names. I wonder if Joe Rockhead built the subdivision. The site's 4.15 acres. There's tree cover, there's wetlands, and there's 1 existing home. Mr. Crank got the joke. And the zoning is R1C, 1-family residential. The applicant did provide a wetland study. There are 4 small pockets of wetlands on the site. The largest is measuring 0.17 acres. The contention of Mr. Abathira's engineers is that the wetlands are not regulated by Eagle because 1, they're very small, and 2, they're not connected to a lake, river, or stream, or within 500 feet of a lake, river, or stream. They did identify 248 trees on the site. If you look at the tree list in the packet on the tree preservation plan, there are some quality trees in there, a lot of silver maples, a lot of elm, and a lot of cottonwoods, which are generally considered invasive, non-desirable trees. So in terms of layout, as I mentioned, extending 2 streets, Rockingham is proposed to have, on the west side is a relatively large detention basin, and on the east side, 3 homes, and then for the extended Stoningham Drive, 3 homes on both sides of the street. T-turnarounds at each end, sidewalks provided on both streets. The application meets the area and the bulk and area standards for R1C. The applicant is proposing lot averaging. Lot averaging basically, in a nutshell, is providing flexibility. The developers is allowed to reduce the width and lot area by up to 10% as long as the average area and average widths meet the R1C district, and they do. So just as an aside, I would say most subdivisions and site condominiums that were developed in Troy historically use lot averaging. It's just something that was very common. Mr. Lambert, who was on city council years ago, remembers that lot averaging is very commonplace in the city. Landscaping is compliant. They meet the tree replacement criteria. Mr. Abathira is required to have at least 388 inches on the site, and through credits, he's providing 650 inches of trees. The street landscaping has been met. There is opportunity for additional landscaping around the detention pond, it appears. That's something that Planning Commission or Mr. Abathira may want to consider. Mr. Abathira proposes 2 housing types. One's called the Troywood, one's called the Vanderpool. We're going to put the floor plans up here, but they just didn't look right on the slides as they're too busy. You couldn't really read them. But each has a 3-car garage with 4 bedrooms and 4 restrooms. The area of the Troywood is about 3,500 square feet, and the Vanderpool square footage is not provided, but I'm assuming it's around the same size. They provided 3 applications, 3 variations of a similar colonial style home. Each is 2 stories, approximately 27 feet in height. They do not exceed the 30-foot maximum. Building materials include brick veneer, vinyl siding, asphalt shingles, and fascia. And if interested homeowners wish, they can add stone veneer and other additional type quality materials as optional as buyers of these homes. Here's front elevation A, B, C. The Plan Commission is to apply the standards of 8.06, which are here on the screen. I'm not going to read them. And pretty clean from a compliance standpoint. And with that, we can talk about the application, answer any questions.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Sabadan?
Yeah.
Yep, Mr. Lambert.
I know I ask you this every time a site condominium project comes in front of us, but for those maybe 2 or 3 people that are watching on YouTube, TV, if you could explain exactly what a site condominium is so people don't have a misconception of what that is. Sorry to ask you to do
Yeah,
that.
if it's going to feel like deja vu to the chair, because we just talked about this about 10 minutes ago. So, and Ms. Dufresne, you can jump in at any time. So when Troy was kind of booming, started to, with the construction of 75 and just the kind of explosion in single-family residential, the only tool available for single-family detached developments that included multiple single-family home developments were the subdivisions through at the time it was called the Subdivision Control Act. And it worked fine from the standpoint of we were able to develop just hundreds of subdivisions in the city, but a very lengthy and cumbersome process. There was multi-steps. There was there was an approval process. There was a sign-off process. As I was telling the chair prior to the meeting, after each step of approval, the applicant had to take the Mylar. It had to be printed on Mylar, a certain size, and the Mylar was distributed it had a rubber band around it with an India ink pen clipped to the rubber band because it had to be signed in order by a certain type of pen, or it would be rejected by the state and kicked back and have to start over again. So anyways, this process took 1.5 years. Well, along came the Condominium Act in 1980, and developers basically figured out that they could apply the Condominium Act, which was really, I think initially when it was written, intended to apply to vertical development, vertical condos, but take this kind of the same regulations about limited common area and general common area, and apply that horizontally across the land. And that was a concept of site condominiums. And what communities did is they essentially allowed site condominiums as a alternative to subdivisions, and developers liked it because it cut development approvals in like by 2/3, way quicker. To the person driving by and looking at it, because the standards of development were the same, it had to have the same quality roads, sidewalks, area and bulk requirements. To the observer looking at it, you could not physically tell if it was a subdivision versus a site condominium. Just the form of ownership was a little bit different. So that was a really long-winded way of answering your question, but there's really no other way to answer it. It's an alternative to subdivisions. I've worked here for the city for a little over 23 years, and in that time, we've seen a lot of single-family residential development. 2 subdivisions I've seen in 23 years. The rest were site condominiums. So.
Thank you.
Yep, Mr. Payson.
I have 3 short questions.
Sure, go ahead.
If I could.
All 3.
So Brent, could you go, well, maybe this is fine. The T turnarounds, are those, I assume those are compliant with ordinance, but are those like recommended or best practice for development like this?
Yeah, the fire department they approve different designs. They approve the full-blown cul-de-sac. Mm-hmm. They approve these. They approve the hammerheads. There's different styles that they will consider. This is one of them. This is best management practice. It allows a fire truck to pull forward, to back in,
And do
or
the
an
turn-
emergency vehicle.
Yeah, I was
like
wondering if
ambulance or whatever.
circulation, like a ring road would be a best practice, but this is acceptable. So that's,
This is acceptable.
Mr. Faison, could I jump in real quick?
Please,
Because I want to
please.
piggyback on that. I know we talked about it at the pre-meeting, but it occurred to me, if eventually this road continues on, is the idea that T turnaround would be eliminated and it would move up on the road, right? I mean, it's not going to stay in the middle of the sub.
Yeah, I think Mr. Abathira is probably more appropriate that he talk about that, but the quick answer is yes, I believe he has plans to extend these roads and actually loop them and connect them in the future, but that we're not considering that this evening, obviously.
Okay. And can they be gravel?
No,
Oh, they have to be paved?
yes.
Okay. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
The second question is, I thought I heard you say that the applicant said that the wetlands weren't regulated. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, so what's required is the applicant hires a civil engineer or a wetlands consultant to walk the site, flag the site, research what type of soils, et cetera, flag it, map it, and then in their professional opinion, they opine as to whether the wetlands are state regulated or not. There's a formula that is applied, I mentioned it in the presentation, based on size, based on if it connects or is within a certain distance from a lake, river, or stream. It was in the opinion of the petitioner's civil engineer that it was not regulated. Ultimately, Eagle's going to have to decide if that's accurate or not. But
That was my
Eagle's
question.
going to see it.
Eagle will decide at some
Yeah,
point.
that's during final.
Got it. And then the last question, and thank you for your consideration.
Yeah.
When do we require color renderings?
When?
Yeah.
For projects that require site plan approval, but in my opinion, not for single-family residential.
Okay.
I mean, it's,
I feel like I recall we don't necessarily see them for
Well, I mean,
single-family residential. Yeah.
there are some on the Planning Commission who may think that it helps provide context. I think for by right single-family residential, my opinion, in single-family residential zoning districts, it's overkill, in my opinion, because it's an extension of, this abuts single-family residential on all sides. It abuts single-family homes on all sides.
I agree with all that. I was thinking
Yeah.
about the materials. So thank you.
Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah.
Yep, Mr. Crump.
Who reviews the homes, the style of the homes, so that every third one is substantially different architecturally? I don't see, in this particular application, there's two homes, two styles delineated, expressed, the Troy Wood and the Vanderpool. I don't see two specific ones labeled that, but that's for the, but
Yeah.
who's the one that makes a judgment call? Because truthfully, these three look virtually the same building. They're not architecturally substantially different.
Yeah, it's one of numerous plan reviewers in the building department who make that determination.
Okay, thanks.
So have they been reviewed for that already?
No, not yet. Not until they go in front of, not until they get approved, they go through final, and then they submit building plans to the building department. At that time, they'll be reviewed to ensure that they're different. We used to have a requirement that AB had to be different than the one,
Next to it.
now it's ABC. Now there has to be three in a row that are architecturally different.
Okay.
My guess is Mr. Abathira provided three. I don't want to speak for him. He's here. Please ask him. He probably has a whole, a number of different front elevations he could propose.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions before we invite Mr. Abathira up? Okay. Welcome. Come on up to the podium.
Good evening. Thank you for seeing me today. It's an empty room tonight. This is unusual for me coming up here. Normally I bring 50, 60 people with me. This is a nice little 9-unit sub that I have here. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just an extension of a road and going through. I mean, there's not that much I can do to it. I will be extending it in the future, the T turnarounds will be gone, there'll be a road that crosses over and back. It's just, it costs a lot of money to develop, and I have to start somewhere and then finish these and move to the next phase. I'm trying to think about, you guys asked a few questions. Elevations, there's 3 different types of elevations. We have more that we put on. I like to let the people pick other options they want on them, tell them you can have this, you can't have that, this is good, you can't, because I have to make sure there's, I think it's 3 different things between each house that goes in there. One could be a hip, one could be a gable, one could have a 3-car stepped-out garage, a straight-in garage, windows, bays, box-outs. Dormers, there's lots of different things, and I will let the people pick out what they like.
Gary, could you, sorry, just if I may, when you get a site condominium approved and you meet with building, I mean, you lay out your plans with like Dominic or with Tom or
Yes.
someone, and you go over each one, right? Like this is, on this address, I'm proposing this, like you physically go through that process every home you build, correct?
On our building permits, we have, 714, whatever the street is, elevation A, and they'll know what it is. And then when they look at the next house next to it, it'll say elevation B, and they'll already have 3 different types of things different for it. So they know they can't put an elevation A next to an elevation A. So they'll go A, B, C, A, B, C. I also have to look at the existing houses that are there to make sure I'm not building the exact same house that they have, because there's only so many elevations we can do. It doesn't matter if it's me building or another builder. We all have the same type of things. 3-car garages in the front door, the bays, the dormers. So we have to make sure that we don't match the elevation of the house next door to us that's already existing also.
So you didn't build the houses to the south?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. And the building department is very, very keen on that to make sure that we don't have that issue.
Okay.
We have some of the best plan reviewers in the city.
Hold on a second, I gotta make note of that. Gary said something about the building department that didn't involve complaining about high fees, just making a note.
Does anyone, yeah, Mr. Tagle?
I don't see any side or rear elevations. And the reason I'm asking the question is because one of the notes that I try to fight against is vinyl siding. I have no idea what the price point of these homes are going to be, but they're big homes. They're over 3,000 square feet. I have no idea what the sale price is going to be, but vinyl siding on a home of this magnitude to me seems like, if I were looking at that, I say, well, vinyl siding, that's the lowest of the low of exterior materials. Have you considered any other material? And also, what is happening on the side and rear elevations as far as a material?
Well, our other material, I think it was EFS, because we kind of like that material on the side of houses, but didn't think that applied. We'll be doing LP brick halfway, brick, first floor is brick, second floor will be LP siding. That's just like we see in all our other, matches the existing sub that's there already, but it's a wood siding that goes on as the carpenters build it and it's painted.
When you say LP, tell me what
It's an LP wood siding. It's, comes in 16-foot lengths, 8 inches tall.
Is it a cement fiber?
It's a wood fiber, not a cement fiber. It's just like the cement.
So the fact that this says vinyl siding, that's not accurate?
No.
Okay.
It'll be it's called LP. It's a manufactured chipwood type product that has the wood grain
It
on
doesn't
it.
stand for Louisiana Pacific siding, does it?
No, they make it. It's an LP wood siding, they call it.
Okay, all right. And so the rest of the side and rear elevations will have a
10-foot high brick.
wainscot of brick, and then above that will be the LP siding?
Yes. And then when we have a gable house, you'll only be 8 feet of that in there. If it's a gable, you see the corners going up. If it's a hip roof, you'll just see it
All right.
up to that point there, the overhang all around it.
Okay, thank you.
So, you mentioned that there, in the report, that there are 2 styles of homes. One's a Troy Wood and one's a Vanderpool. I didn't see those designated in your presentation piece, so how can we see those 2 different?
The only Troy Wood is going to go on the lot that is extra deep up here off of the east one, just trying to put a different house in that area there. There will only be 1 Troy Wood built because it's a deeper lot. It's a little bit narrower and deeper, and everything else will be a Troy Wood.
Say again. So there's one Troy Wood and the
One-
rest are Vanderpool?
One Vanderpool.
Oh, one
The rest are
Vanderpool.
Troy Woods.
Okay.
Yes. We're hoping to put a ranch in there too. I don't have any elevations for it, but I have one person already knocking on my door that they want a ranch. So I don't know what it'll look like, but it'll be your typical ranch, bricked up and wide and nice. That will change the elevations of the whole subdivision. In the existing sub, there are no ranches. There's 25 houses as you come off of Waddle, so I'm hoping to have the first ranch in there, so.
I was going to ask about the ranches, because some of your lots are deep, and so, you could do a deep ranch, with a front like this, and that goes back, and I was wondering if you had people asking for that. And the other question is the first floor master, I didn't see any.
I do not, first floor masters aren't as popular as they used to be.
Really?
Everybody wants the 4-bedroom upstairs, and we do 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms upstairs, and 1 convertible bedroom on the first floor,
Okay.
so.
Mr. Lambert?
Mr. Abathera, I was looking through Mr. Carlisle's report, and it mentions here about the detention pond and that there would benefit from additional landscaping. Are you willing to enhance some of the landscaping around that detention pond?
Yes, as that pond is designed for the whole future sub already too. So as the future sub comes in, there'll be more landscaping going on the pond there. But yes, we will be doing more. Now, right now, that pond is against another pond, so the back side of it is already an existing retention pond.
Okay.
But everything on the front, we're gonna landscape so it looks good.
I wanted to ask about that, actually, because when I drove over there, I was a little confused, because I saw that detention pond with a gate around it, and I realized yours was going to be basically parallel to it. And has there been any discussion about combining those and fixing the one that's not on your property? I mean, I don't know who's responsible, but to make one big one where it's sloped so they can remove the fence and then create it as sort of like paths and landscaped and benches and have it be something. Another thing I was going to comment on is I love the idea that, am I echoing or is it
That's
just
this
me?
thing right here.
I
don't
think
know.
there's something there, yeah.
This is picking up something.
Yeah. What is that?
That was a hearing device, so.
Yeah, sorry. I know it was buzzing when you were talking as well. I love the idea that we're extending roads and not create, I mean, obviously in this case you have to because there's no other way to get there, but I like making a larger subdivision, and I know there's been talk about connecting to the west and to the east, I suppose, but at a minimum, it would be nice to maybe have a path through this area that could connect to the other neighborhood, so there's a little bit more cohesion.
So, as you know, the ponds are owned by the city. We build them, and we have to deed them back to the city. The pond next door to me is built on a 4-to-1 slope. That's why it has a fence on it.
Yep.
So you can't take the fence down because someone can roll down it. Mine is built at a 6-to-1 slope, doesn't require it, but between the two, there's a 12-foot diameter pipe that runs down the length of the property line, which stops some of the connecting, because I'd love to just go in there and connect them bottom to bottom, but there's going to be a hump in the middle where the pipe is. So we have to build ours, the existing. They'll maintain them both together, but it could be I think it's a great idea. You could put some kind of walking path through there to get to the other side and do that stuff. I know they did it up by the golf course where the retention pond goes in the subdivision connects to the bike path, which is, I think, a great thing that should be done more often.
So are you saying that's a city thing?
That's a city thing.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about the detention, and that detention pond to the east is not owned by the city. I don't know what relationship. It's owned by
not.
National Housing Corp. Anyways, there may be more than just an engineering challenge
Okay.
Okay.
facing the combination of the two.
Okay,
I thought the city owned all of them.
okay.
So.
And that's right, you did
No.
mention that. Okay. Anybody?
Another
Mr. Kern?
thought. Are these homes going to have basements?
Yes.
Okay, so because there's so much of it was semi-wetlands, they said it was, how does
Very,
that? how
very
does that-
small part of it's wetland.
All right, so are you doing anything, what do you normally do after you pour the foundation? What do you put along the outside perimeter of
We
your?
put a waterproofing around the outside, but there is no groundwater in that site. The wetland is only in the top foot. Once it's gone, there's no more water that lays there. The drains that we put in take care of any groundwater there is. And the engineering department in Troy makes you put a pipe around the entire subdivision that collects any rainwater and water in backyards. So I have zero worry of basements leaking, dripping, cracking, any of that issue.
Okay.
What is your price point on these?
Do you really want to know?
I don't know.
They're $925 now. Those are starting prices.
Okay,
And
and.
people
yeah.
don't blink. That's the sad,
Yeah, it's reality.
that's reality. But prices keep going up on everything.
So the houses to the south are not built by you, but they are a condo?
They're a site condo too. They were built 5 years ago by Mondrian Properties.
Oh, okay. Do you know if they have an association where they're paying fees, dues?
I do not know that. I'm sure they do. I would 99% sure they do, because every sub that you build, you put in a homeowners association. We will have a homeowners association for our own sub.
You will? That'll be separate?
That will be separate.
Huh.
If you go up my other sub, we did Oak Forest that Lads built. They have Oak Forest 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they have 4 separate.
Go ahead.
Will they collect dues, and if so, what will the dues go towards paying?
The only thing they're going to pay their dues to is maybe cutting the grass in a retention pond. There's nothing else that the association has to do. The streets are owned by the city. The water, sewer is all taken care of the city. There is no open space. There's no playground. You have to have a homeowners association for your mortgage. And the sub I live in, we have one, and we charge $50 a month, and we don't do anything with the money. Or $50 a year.
Oh, my gosh.
A year, $50 a year, and it does nothing. So we do mosquito spray for the whole subdivision, because the city maintains the pond, and the roads are maintained by the city. People think when it's a condo that the outsides are owned by the condominium, and they take care of it. Everybody takes care of their own properties. So it's like a single-family residential home.
Okay.
So, and all we do is put bylaws so you can't park boats in the front yard and stuff like that.
Madam Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you mentioned 925 as the price point, but you also mentioned earlier you had interest in a ranch from a buyer. What would that price point be? Would that be the same 925?
It's going to be the same price, but it's going to be less square footage. And most of my buyers come in and they just look at how many square feet, how much per square foot. The guy down the street's paying $220 and I'm at $215. They like my house better. It's all priced per square foot.
But so the ranch would be significantly higher.
Yeah, you're going to pay
per square
$300
foot.
for $300 square foot for a ranch.
Mr. Faison, I did a little research today because I was thinking about this when I looked at the deep ranches, and what I found out is because ranches have a larger roof and a larger foundation, and that's what drives the price up, making them less cost-effective, which is, I guess it makes sense, but it's kind of weird, right?
You're paying, like I say, twice the roof, twice the carpentry work, twice the basement floor, twice the foundation.
Crazy.
The only thing that's the same is the garage.
Crazy. Okay. Anyone else have any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you. Doesn't look like anybody's here, so I won't open it up. So does somebody want to propose a resolution so we can start our discussion? Have Tyler here today to do that for us.
I'll go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Kent.
Okay.
I think it's on page 14.
Yeah. So preliminary site approval, proposed GFA Forsyth site condominium, 9 single-family detached units north of Waddles, west of DeQuinder, 4189 and 4197 Forsyth. Really? Is that true? Is that the street it's on?
Oh, yeah, it's,
It is, yeah,
Oh, it's not Rocking? Okay.
because those streets don't exist.
They don't exist yet, okay. PIN 88-20-13-401-028-037 and -038, Section 13, presently zoned R1C, one-family residential zoning district. Resolved that preliminary site condominium approval pursuant to Article 8 and Section 10.02 of the zoning ordinance as requested for proposed GFA Forsyth site condominium, 9 units lots, north of Waddles, west of DeQuinder, 4189 and 4197 Forsyth, pin 88-20-13-401-028-037 and -3038, Section 13, approximately 12.62 acres in size, currently zoned R1C, one-family residential, District B, up for vote. We'll go ahead, be granted.
Okay. Does somebody want to second that? Mr. Tagle seconded. All right, so open to discussion. Who wants to start us off? Mr. Lambert?
I was going to say, ask for maybe some guidance from Mr. Savadan as far as some enhancements to that, the landscaping around the detention pond, if some appropriate language that would give you guidance as well as Mr. Abathura and what we were looking for based upon Mr. Carlisle's report.
What was the, based on the report? Yeah, I was wondering if the applicant has any ideas in terms of what enhancements he would be willing to propose.
Yeah, please come on up.
I have not seen Ben Carlisle's report, but if it's enhancements of extra trees and more landscaping, that's not a problem. Something we can do in-house of let Brent and Ben look at it, I'm fine with. They're fair and.
I think Mr. Tagle wants to comment.
Well, I just wanted to, is there any requirements for the amount of landscaping buffering that retention area?
Not specifically, no.
So would it be reasonable to put a percentage on it, to say, increase it by 10% or 20% or whatever number of trees or vegetation?
Yep.
We'll increase it by 15%. Does that sound good? Really? Okay.
From the existing, because you already had some landscaping.
Yeah, oh, yes.
So-
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll include in my resolution. Let me just get the language there correct. Okay. Subject to enhancing the area around the detention pond with landscaping 15% above what's there now. Is that okay, guys?
I think Mr. Tagle has to second that, although I don't know if we're finished with our discussion. We might be adding more.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything to add or want to discuss before they feel prepared to make a decision on this? No? Okay. Oh,
So there was discussion earlier about vinyl siding in the packet, but the applicant saying vinyl siding was not going to be on the elevations. How do we monitor something like that? Is that something that would come before you, and do you do that administratively?
Yeah, well, I mean, if the motion makers, we had the applicant clarify that it's going to be LP siding, so if he volunteered it, if you wanted to clarify
Okay.
as another condition that there'll be no vinyl siding, it'll be LP siding.
yes.
I'll make, yes, the other condition would be to have no vinyl siding on these homes.
And I think you should add that he offered to put LP
Oh, yeah.
siding.
Oh, and the applicant offered to put LP siding as one of the materials.
Mrs. Zarnecki, you got that?
I do, thank you.
Okay, and I think Mr. Tagle still seconds that, so.
Yep.
Anything else? All right, I think we're ready for the vote.
Mr. Krent,
Yes.
Mr. Lambert.
Yes.
Ms. Parakis.
Yes.
Mr. Tagle.
Yes.
Mr. Faison.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. 5 for 5. So we're going to move on to public comment for items that are on the agenda, but I
Mr.
don't
Hudson,
see-
I think he's sitting right there.
Oh, is he there?
I think so.
Mr. Hudson?
I don't know if he can hear us.
I'm sure he can.
Come on down.
Can you see him?
Have the sergeant at arms bring him in, so.
That's dedication.
Yep.
That's good.
I'm guessing he has nothing to say.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, John, after the meeting, 2 minutes?
All right, so seeing nobody here for public comment, Mr. Hudson's making his way back, and we're going to move on to Planning Commission comment. So I'm going to start with Mr. Tagle.
I'm fine tonight, thank you.
Nothing?
Okay.
Just one comment, I guess, for Ms. Dufresne, a question. I wish Ms. Barden had stayed longer for the whole meeting, but I know one of the issues when we were dealing with the Somerset West project was the consent agreement on part of the project, which kind of ties our hands as a planning commission as far as suggesting or requesting or requiring some enhancements for landscaping. Is that kind of the issue that both will be dealing with and also city council will be dealing with?
So, Mr. Lambert, I mean, you could have made any sort of suggestions with respect to landscaping to that PUD agreement. In the pavilions, the language in that agreement was the parties agreed to use their best efforts together to try to get the other members of the consent judgment to agree. So that could have been a way to proceed. I mean, I guess I thought her issue was more related to the setbacks, and the setbacks are set. I mean, those are really not, they're not really going to change because they're based on the prior EP zoning and the prior parking zoning. I mean, how the parcels were laid out way back in the 70s and before that. So.
Well, maybe when Mr. Savin has to eventually present to city council, that could be one of the things that there was some discussion about it, but I guess it's one of those things that city council can ask for as part of the approval process for the.
Well, I'm going to say something that could probably get me fired.
Oh, no.
I mean.
Don't do that.
Or you don't have to.
Stay silent.
Yeah, I mean, city council, this board experienced, you could ask for whatever you wanted. If the other party's not willing to negotiate,
Yep. Okay.
negotiation runs both ways, and if only one party is willing to negotiate, it kind of falls on deaf ears, unfortunately.
And let me maybe say this or ask it, I guess, but everything, even once they start making a decision on the property north of Cunningham, which is the consent judgment, the site plans still come to us. And at that time, I believe that we can be asking for the landscaping and the things that we would ordinarily ask for, I believe. I mean, he's shaking yes, you don't see.
I'm nodding. I'm nodding. my
Oh,
head.
you're nodding.
I'm agreeing with you.
You have a totally different look.
So I'll.
All right, go ahead.
I'll chime in if you don't mind. So this is concept development plan approval. So it does apply. I'm not an attorney, but they are putting language in the PUD that applies to both sides of Cunningham, the portion that's controlled by consent agreement and the portion that's not. Portion that is potentially earmarked for U of M, the portion that's not. You know, there's a lot of balls in the air here. But the concept development plan, the CDP that we saw, proposed buffering along the northern property line. It proposed setbacks, a combination of setbacks, and a combination of a landscape berm. Mary Ellen has been to numerous public meetings. She's spoken numerous times, provided numerous emails. I think she's being heard. She has a voice. She's using her voice. and I think the planning commission heard her, I think city council's listening as well. To your point, it is a concept. We're not in a position yet where we're going to be looking at the berm in great detail because there's no project in front of us. We don't know if they're going to propose an office building, a residential development, a retail development. We don't know what's proposed. But when we do get a site plan for that we will do a deep dive and we'll look at the landscaping and we'll look at an appropriate buffer that's consistent with what is outlined generally in general terms in the concept development plan. I'm confident that when we get an application, there's going to be a public hearing. This board's going to consider it. The city council is going to consider it at a public hearing. We're going to get a combination of setback and landscaping that's going to appease the neighbors. We just are.
I hope we do more than appease the neighbors. I hope we satisfy the neighbors, but yeah, I get your point. I don't know, Ms. Dufresne, did you want to add anything?
Nope.
Okay.
I thought appease was a good word, like a positive word.
Oh.
Okay.
I always think it has
Satisfy.
a negative connotation. but
Okay,
anyway.
okay.
But we want to use win-win. as the
Win-win,
Yeah.
yes.
So Ms. Barden should continue to come back and bug us and city council
City
as we
council.
go through the process, so.
She-
So,
So she mentioned earlier when we were talking, she said, I know I'm bugging you. She's not bugging me.
Right,
It's
yeah.
my job. She's very kind and we go back and forth a lot. It's all good.
Nothing.
Mr. Fraser. Mr. Hudson, it's, do you have anything to say for Planning Commission comment?
No, I said enough tonight.
Okay. All right. Planning? Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.